Let's go into the next question here. So we have, what do gym owners who never worry about leads actually do differently? So think of this. What do gym owners who have a constant flow of leads, like what do they do differently versus the ones who are struggling to get leads? Well, this is just predictable acquisition. It isn't luck, it isn't talent. And getting consistent leads isn't like some crazy mystery. It's about getting a repeatable process for a gym. Now, I want to take you back. Spoke about this a little bit in a previous video, but I want to talk a bit about feast and famine. And this just happens in the industry a lot. So if I go to here and I go to January and I go to December, for you watching this, I think we can all agree that February is probably one of the best months. So I would say February, March, April. Like these are your golden times. So this January's a bit slow to get started, but it probably goes like this. And then as you get to May and then June, in July, it probably dips. And then it goes back up again late August, September for back to school. And then it starts nosediving back down in December. So it looks quite scary looking at this here. But if I put the blue in the sort of peak times, and if I put the red in times where it's not so great, I'm not saying you can't make sales during these times, by the way, because you can. But generally speaking, we're in an industry where it's very aesthetic, physique based. The non-player characters of the world go with the generalizations of the world in terms of when they lose weight, when they lose fat and stuff. So you have these peaks, and this is what creates feast or famine if you're not careful. Okay. So you can see the quarters, you get Q1 to Q4 in this mix. And to go back to the question about why some gym owners have predictable acquisition, they have consistent leads, it's finding a way for not only for you to take advantage of when it's the peaks, but also the troughs. So this might make you think that you have to be on it 24/7, but you don't. You just have to peak the trough. And so what ends up happening is you create it here. Are you going to replicate it to the highest point here? No, but you don't have to. Because see this little bit here, this is the difference between you being in feast and famine cycle and just always in a good, predictable state of flow. Another thing is those who don't have predictable lead flow, gyms, online coaches, is they turn their ads on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. Or their main acquisition channel gets stopped and started all the time. And it's like, I'll turn that off now because I'm going away for a week, or I'll stop doing that now because I'm tired, or I need to do this because my training, I've got a training for a marathon. And they wonder why they get feast or famine. Now, look, you might be a solo operator, so it's just yourself, and no wonder you have to have these times. But that's where you have to think about innovating. Like, is there times where, this here, why does it have to stop? Oh, because I'm the one that sends messages. Well, can we put AI in here? Can we have a staff member take over? Like, this is where you really got to think. And look, listen, if you're happy just doing it yourself, then that's fine. But you have to really start to look at how you can get rid of the feast or famine months. And we've seen this, right? To give you a perfect example of this, in December, we've seen a number of our gyms turn ads off, right? So December, nothing. Then they come out the traps in January and go, okay, I need to get my ads on. By the time they wake up, it's the 6th of January. There's the scripts. Let me film them. Let me edit them. It's like the 13th of January. Nothing's been running for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. There's been nothing going out to your local market or your online market. And so this, if you want to call it a bucket, is empty. Then you run an ad, and then you get a lead in here that you need to chat to, and so on, and it eventually fills up. And so it's a mixture. And look, I'm not saying in December you sell hard. I'm saying change your approach, put your name in the hat. Like, for example, like a waiting list in December, so that, see, January, you're already filling up by the 13th. And it's so normal that as a personal trainer that you live by the typical cycles of the fitness industry. You need to break free from it. If you want to make more money, you have to break free from the typical cycles. Because every PT and their granny can make money round about this spell. It's the most prominent time in the world for people to focus on their physique. How can you peak the troughs in key months? By the way, I just want you to know that, say for talking's sake, your income drops to 5K every July and August. If you were to peak that trough and kept it up, like put it up to 8K here, if you did that every quarter, wherever you normally trough, and peaked it up, 12K extra on your top line. Think about that. So that's the feast or famine cycle. That's exactly why most gym owners end up or don't have predictable lead flow when some actually do.